Everybody's got a plan till life punches you in the face. That's a great quote from Mike Tyson. I'm sure you've seen it on the internet before, but I wanted to just share that with you and talk about being fortified. You know, we just went through back-to-back hurricanes here at the office. So, you know, in terms of what's been our focus has been working and moving forward. Our team is very resilient. Being able to do so with back-to-back hurricanes in a week, working remotely. But, you know, this video really was more so I wanted to talk to you personally about fortifying your own personal life, right? A lot of times we talk about the financial element of things, and there's truth to that reality that you need to have your finances in order so that you can be prepared for things that are, you know, uncertain moments in life. But, you know, what I found is, you know, everybody here, we got hit by the Hurricane Helene, and then basically like 6 days later, not even, boom, hit again by Hurricane Milton. And so people are often, you know, without power. Like my mother-in-law was without power in Helene for 5 days. And then, you know, basically as soon as power comes back on, you know, we had to evacuate in her houses out of a flood zone. So it's a non-evacuation zone. We were there with her. Power went out the night of the hurricane and was out without power for 5 days. So you've got families staying together for, you know, 5, 7, 10 days, 11 days. There's even, as I shoot this today, Tuesday, there's still people without power. You know, thankfully our home, our personal home, power came back on Sunday. Our office complex power came back on Sunday as well. And so we were able to move back with, you know, moving forward with kind of full tilt, full power. But I want to talk to you about fortifying your areas of your life. So think about like in your family life. What I saw talking to different people is some families are like, you know, at each other because they're not normally used to being together that intimately, so to speak, meaning like they're together. There's no distractions, meaning you don't have power. So you can't watch TV or this, that, and the other. And so people started getting at each other's edges because maybe they didn't have kind of full resolution in all the areas of their life. And so, you know, is your family fortified? Do you have the foundation being built up correctly, and that there is, you know, forgiveness and love and those different variables that need to be there? Is your emotional fortification strong? Have you been running on fumes? Or have you been taking the proper time to, you know, properly handle your own personal emotions? Have you dealt with any of the unresolved things in your life, you know, whether it's an area of forgiveness, whether it's an area of resolution, you know, where you have good emotional strength, right? Or again, you know, people reacting to these difficulties of the recent hurricane where, you know, your house gets destroyed, you lose everything, and it's emotionally just, you know, kind of a wreck for them, and it just sets them beside. And, you know, the other thing I would say is your spiritual fortification. You know, are you building up your spiritual element on a daily, weekly basis? See, because, you know, what happens is, you know, we had the hurricane that hit us, right? And then we had another hurricane, like, it's crazy. My wife is like, we come through the first one, we lose all of our stuff at our house there on Indian Rocks, and house just completely destroyed. And that's tough. I mean, that you walk up on that on Friday after the storm comes through, and it's like, wow. And then for us, we couldn't get off the beach for like 3 days because of the danger. They wouldn't open the bridge. So if you left, you couldn't come back. So that was really a difficult thing, you know. Thankfully, we had food supplies and all that stuff, you know, but it really is something that then she told me, it's like, you know, like 2 days later, you know, there's another storm brewing in the Gulf. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Sure enough, it turns into Hurricane Milton and comes right at us. And so are you building up your spiritual reservoir in your relationship with God and your spiritual fortitude so that you're better prepared to deal with some of these uncertainties, right? Back-to-back hurricanes. Now, maybe you're not going to deal with that, but, you know, there's other people I know where they got laid off from a job and it was an uncertain moment. Other people where they were diagnosed with an aggressive cancer. You know, others where they found out their child had autism, or they found out that their child has a particular type of, disease that has to be treated. And I mean, there's all different kinds of things. Life will throw some obstacles at you. And so, the real question becomes, are you just moving along like everything's good and everything's gravy? Or are you building the reserves that you need to build? Are you fortifying your family relationships? Are those things strongly intact like they need to be? I've seen, previously, pastoring for many years where there was unresolved problems between a father and son. And then all of a sudden the father had a massive heart attack and the son's like, oh my God, didn't have a good opportunity to resolve it. Or now his, father had a stroke and it's just a different situation. And so I want to encourage you to take the steps necessary to fortify your family relationships. Do it when you've got time, right? Do it when it's good. Do it when it's now. And then in the same way, in your own emotional health and strength, are you taking steps on a daily, weekly basis to take care of yourself and to take care of that mental sanity for yourself? And then lastly, are you on a daily basis taking the spiritual steps necessary? I'm sure everybody's been at some point in their life where you had this difficult situation. You're like, oh God, help me. I would suggest that it's better to develop the fortification and the relationship in your spiritual life on a daily basis before it becomes a critical moment. Because when life punches you in the face and the hurricane hits you and then another hurricane hits you, or, the situation and the diagnosis comes, man, that's a tougher moment, and so take the step now, build the fortification. I just give God the thanks and the praise. We came through it overall. Our family is okay. Yes, we lost an entire house and that's terrible and was difficult. But thankfully our office complex is here and intact. I've got power back at my house today. Yeah, there's still a lot of work ahead of us. But, praise God, we come out of it. And yeah, there's moments where we were weary and even still, I'm sure, a bit ahead, get tired of dealing with some of the things. But by developing those fortifications and developing that strength enables you to move forward more strongly and to maintain a positive attitude and to maintain a positive thought process so that you can get a successful outcome. Hey, great to see you. You have a blessed and victorious week, for this is the week God has ordained for you.